Hello and welcome to the GAAP Basis BARS update for fiscal year 2023. My name is Christy Kogel and I am an Assistant Audit Manager with the Local Government Support Team here at the State Auditor's Office. Today we will be covering BARS codes, updates and reminders, accounting and reporting changes, which include arbitrage rebates, election costs, loans, and notes. We will also be briefly discussing the future updates for fiscal year 2024, which includes GASB 100, accounting changes, and GASB 101, compensated absences. Our first BARS code update is to BARS code 31130, sale of tax property. This affects only our counties, and this will be removed from the chart of accounts in fiscal year 2023. We have spoken to the Department of Revenue, who is our taxing authority here in Washington, and they have stated that this should be reported as regular property tax revenue, which is BARS code 31110. If there is any excess proceeds for the sale of tax property, that would be coded to BARS code 36920, which is unclaimed property. Another change this year is 34148, motor vehicle license fees, has been restricted to counties only, since they are the only ones who can contract directly with the Department of Licensing. Our next BARS code update is to BARS code 34581, zoning and subdivision services. We noticed this year that BARS code 367, contributions and donations from non-governmental sources, and BARS code 34581 both reference the same RCW, and that is RCW 82.02.020. This RCW has to do with voluntary agreements, which are a type of impact fee. Therefore, they have been removed from the reference in the BARS code 367 description, and voluntary agreement should be reported in BARS code 34581, zoning and subdivision services. The next BARS code update is to BARS code 33700, local grants, entitlements, tribal government distributions, and other payments. We have added tribal governments to the title and description of this BARS code, since under state law, tribal government should be considered local governments. Therefore, receipts from tribal governments, other than payments for services, should now be coded to BARS code 337, and you should no longer use BARS code 367, contributions and donations from non-governmental sources. The next BARS code update is to BARS code 52460, enforcement of codes and regulations. When reviewing our BARS codes, we noticed that this particular code's description was just a repeat of the title, which is not helpful when trying to apply BARS codes to your annual filing. So we have clarified that description. This code should be used for expenditures related to the enforcement of the local government's codes that are not related to health, law enforcement, fire, building, or protective inspection. All of those subjects have their own BARS codes for those expenses. Anything else outside of those areas would use 52460. Our last BARS code update has to do with Department of Natural Resources codes. These particular codes are for select counties only. It has to do with our DNR trusts. So if you are a county that has a DNR trust land within your jurisdiction, you may need these BARS codes. The first one is 3350334, DNR Timber Trust 1 and Timber Trust 77. Our second code is 3350335, DNR Other Trust 1 and Other Trust 77. Our first accounting and reporting update is to BARS section 3.4.6, arbitrage rebates. We have updated the section to clarify reporting requirements. To determine if you have arbitrage rebates, please review the Internal Revenue Service's guidance on this subject, since they are the ones who determine the arbitrage rebate formula. Arbitrage rebates are due to the federal government every 5 years and at maturity. You will report expenditures when they are paid, and you will report the liability on the schedule of liabilities and update the amount annually. Our next accounting updates to the BARS manual have to do with section 3.3.10, capital asset accounting. We have added instructions for how to account for capital assets that have been fully depreciated. Also, as coming up in fiscal year 2024 for our counties, we wanted to let you know that 3.8.12, election costs, which is the reimbursement from the Secretary of State, will be changing. The Secretary of State has authority over election costs, so the BARS page will be updated to link directly to the Secretary of State's guidance on how to request that reimbursement. Also in our accounting section, in particular 3.4.7, intergovernmental and forgivable loans, we will be moving the guidance that is in the Schedule 16, or the CFA instructions for accounting revolving loans, into the intergovernmental and forgivable loans section. Beginning in our reporting updates, the instructions to the notes to the financial statements will be getting updated, and we wanted to remind governments that have multi-year audits that there must be 2 separate financial packages, which means there must be 2 separate notes. If you are a GAAP government that reports comparative year financial statements, you would have combined notes. That is the only exception. If you do not do comparative statements, then you must have separate financial statement packages. As you know, we have 2 GASB statements that are being implemented in fiscal year 2023. The first one is GASB statement number 96, subscription-based IT arrangements, and GASB statement number 94, public-private and public-public partnerships and availability payment arrangements. We do have a project page for these pronouncements. It is the coming in fiscal year 2023 GAAP and cash. There you can find an introduction to each of these statements and accounting and reporting guidance for GAAP basis governments. Looking further into the future, in particular fiscal year 2024, We are implementing two GASB statements. The first one is GASB 100, which is prior period adjustments, accounting changes, and error corrections. This clarifies accounting and reporting for these items. It also includes updated note disclosures. As GAAP governments, you are allowed to early implement. If you choose to early implement GASB 100, you will have some changes to your BARS codes. You can see them on the screen here. That will adjust for the new classifications of prior period adjustments and accounting changes. Please remember to only use these codes if you are early implementing. If you would like more information on GASB 100, please feel free to scan the QR code for our YouTube video that will walk you through the standard. The second standard that will be implemented in fiscal year 2022 is GASB 101, compensated absences. This standard provides clearer definitions of the types of absences and the requirements for the accounting and financial reporting. For more information, please see the Introduction to Compensated Absences training on our YouTube page. You can scan the QR code on your screen to be taken directly to that training. This standard is also going to create new BARS sections with clarification on what is a compensated absence and what should be included in your calculation and how to report that liability in your annual filing. We do recommend that you start reviewing your compensated absence policy, and if any changes need to be made, that you do that, because remember, you cannot use backdated policies when implementing standards. If you have any questions on the 2023 BARS update, please feel free to submit a help desk. If you have filing questions, you may either submit a help desk or reach out to us at our email at lgcsfeedback@sao.wa.gov. As a reminder, your fiscal year 2023 annual report will be due May 29th, 2024. With the leap year, that is where our deadline falls. Again, thank you for listening to the 2023 BARS update for GAAP basis governments.